Hey guys, welcome back to Sad Dad. My name's Dave Abkarian and I am a comedian out of Fresno, California, and this is a podcast where I sit down with my fellow funny friends, my fellow comedians, and we talk about dads. Hi, how are you? How's your week been? My week's been a roller coaster. This week, performance-wise, I had like two killer sets and like two terrible sets and like one pretty good set, like a medium. You know, it was like, all right, I did well. And I'm just all fucked up right now. You know, Quincy and I were talking about that last week. You're only as good as your last set. My last set was just trash. But it happens. It's okay. Got a show tonight. Make up for it tonight. So you just get back up on the horse. Use that energy, you know? Part of my problem last night, I think, was I was hosting. I was doing like the cold open, which is, you know, where you get the audience warmed up. And I didn't want to host. Like there was another comic that was supposed to do it, and I was kind of like in a shitty mood over that I was hosting and I didn't want to be. I think, you know, you carry that stuff up on stage with you. So I don't even know that I can blame the audience even a little bit for that. Maybe a little bit. They were pretty cold. I was like, you guys know this is a comedy show, right? You know, it's where you laugh, you make the guttural noises with your mouth. They were a new audience. Sometimes that's what you got to do as a comedian, especially when you're hosting. You got to like this is because it's not a normal thing to, you know, when you look at like comedy objectively, it's just the act. I mean, the audience, they're literally making mouth noises in the dark with strangers, and that's weird, you know. And so you got to get them comfortable with that. And so yeah, I just pounded them. I just like, you know, sometimes you have to, as the host, you got to really just go hard on them, and you kind of have to let them know that, like, hey, look, you know, you guys are being a little stiff. You know, that's fine. I'm the host. If you don't want to laugh at me, that's fine. I'm just the face of the show. But I got a bunch of fucking funny comedians that are coming up after me, and you guys got to be better with them. And I guess in that regard, I was pretty successful. Like maybe I didn't get a lot of laughs, but everybody that came after me did. And you know, and so that's good. As the host, it's really not about you; it's about the show. And then we had a great show overall. Oh man, we had Anika Dell headlining last night. She did an episode of Sad Dad with her a while back. She's so funny, man. Oh man, she's got like, she like walks this weird line. Like she's almost an absurdist comedian. Like she'll do these silly things. Like last night, she does like really meta comedy where she'll kind of like, she'll make, not necessarily make fun of, I guess kind of make fun of comedians. Like she'll make fun of comedy and comedians for the sake of comedy. And she does this fucking thing like as she's closing her set where she's like, you know, don't you hate it? Like comics, we really hate it when like the comic before us just like wraps the cable around, you know, and then you're like up there and you're trying to like get the mic out of the stand, but it's all tangled up. But as she's like doing this bit, she is slowly wrapping the mic cable around the stand like as many times as she can, like all the way up the length of the mic stand, and then it gets to the point where the mic is like literally like just stuck in the stand. You can't get it out unless there's this really awkward untangling, and she does that. She like wraps it around so many times, and then she goes, "That's it, guys, good night." Then I have to come up there. I had to go up there with this fucking tangled mess of a mic. I was like, you bitch. It's so funny, man. Yeah, so she's gonna be out the next 2 nights. So yeah. I love Anik. We're gonna have her up again, I think in August. So be on the lookout for that. Don't sleep on the comedy scene around here. We got so many funny people in the scene. Danny mentioned Liam Womack, but even these young cats are just so funny. And actually, that's who I have on the show for you today. Is a young comedian. I say young, I mean, I think she's like in her mid-20s, but that she's new to comedy. You know, I mean, she's a few months in now, I think 6 or 8 months in now. And I always get a little like apprehensive about having a new comedian on the show, simply because I just want to make sure we're going to have enough to talk about. But I think it was Saturday. Was it Saturday? I had like the day off from comedy, and I didn't have anything to do on Saturday, and like all my friends were out of town. I didn't have anybody to hang out with, and I called up our guest today. Her name's Taylor Lopez. I was like, Taylor, I just need somebody to hang out with today. I'm going fucking insane. And she was like, yeah, so like go get lunch. And so we were eating and having lunch, and she just started like, somehow the subject of her dad came up, and I'd heard her like mention things about him before, but like we're having lunch, and I just can't stop asking questions about her dad because he's so fucking fascinating and weird and interesting. And I like by the end of lunch, I was like, can we go back to my place and record a podcast? And she was like, yeah, sure. Okay, whatever. What's a podcast? And she didn't say that, but, and so, yeah, we ended up doing I was like I said, I was concerned. I was like, I wasn't sure, how it was going to go over, whether it was going to be, interesting enough to post. And it's so fucking great. Like she's so good on this podcast. She's so funny and charming. And her dad's just one of the most interesting dudes. It's great. And I'm so excited to show it to you guys right now. So without further ado, folks, Taylor Lopez. This like Facebook contest.
Oh, it was with like make people go like stuff?
No, it wasn't that. It was like this like local photography thing. You can put on those headphones. It was like this local like photographer was like doing a contest for. It was like this. He had this like package. It was like the unicorn package for like little girls, and he needed he was looking for a model for it, and basically the unicorn package that this guy offers is he literally sticks a horn onto a white pony, and then you do a whole photo shoot like out in this meadow with this fucking pony with a horn on its head, right? And so he did this Facebook contest where like people like submitted and like for their kid to be like the face of this package, like so like when he advertises it,
okay,
and it was like this kid was the kid that popped up. And so like, and my daughter won that. And so we have all of these like professional photos of my daughter with a unicorn. And they look great. They're really, really nice.
At first that sounded scary.
Yeah, right? I know. It was.
Being a girl and like competing for like a package.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Like if I went out to the field, I'd be like, we need to take like my husband, his friends, some uncles.
Yeah,
like,
her mom was there the entire time, I swear. This kid is a little closer to you. Anyway, toddlers and tiaras. It's your jam.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm recording you right now.
Oh, okay. I watch it all the time. Like, they have season 8 and 9 on Hulu, and I finished those. So I had to go on my like Cody, like my my illegal ones, like watch more toddlers and tiaras. I like watching that and like Little Women of Dallas, like with the little people.
Okay. Did you feel like it? Is there a little part of you that wishes you were a child? Like
no.
Pageant?
No. I like hearing them talk shit about other people's children.
Oh, okay, that's what it is.
She's not even that cute. Like Abigail, ugly. Like
that's my daughter's name.
No, it's not. Maybe I like read it and like it got stuck in
Maybe, yeah, that's so funny.
Okay, but not her. Like Candace.
Candace, fucking Candace. When I was in elementary school, there was a girl named Candace who got hit in the head by one of the like hydraulic pistons that are like on the doors that like keep them from like, like they make them close. Like
slamming?
We were at this rinky-dink like elementary school. One of those fucking things just came off the wall and swung and just fucking popped her in the head, man. I wonder how Candace is doing these days. I was like in 5th grade.
Maybe her kids are in like pageants now. No. Like they're making up for her getting hit in the head with a piston.
Yeah. Like a pneumatic door closing thing. I don't know.
That's lame.
Yeah, it's pretty lame. I don't know.
I'd rather get my arm caught in like a tractor or something.
That's what
they do that, like a steamroller or something. That happened to a girl at my school, I think.
Really?
Yeah, and like they had to like I think they had to like patch up like some skin from other parts of her body.
Jesus.
So that's kind of tight.
Is it? Is that cool? I don't know. Are the skin colors the same? You know what I mean? Like if they take like leg skin and graft it onto your arm, does it like tan evenly? You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, my thighs are white.
Right. Yeah. I mean, is it the same skin?
But my thighs don't grow that as much hair as my arms do. So I would like them to switch all my thigh with my arms. Just they have enough skin there. They're very hairy. I'm Mexican.
They remove your forearm skin, and then replace it. But then do they attach the forearm skin back to your? Is that how they?
Nobody's seeing my thighs, so it's fine.
That's so funny. Oh yeah. You were down in Bakersfield yesterday. We talked a little bit about that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're getting out. You're getting out. You're doing comedy in other places.
Yeah.
How's that going?
It's fun. Like I feel like, I don't know. I feel like for me, I'm always like, oh, this is just happenstance. Like they just maybe needed a girl, or they maybe needed whatever. And everybody's like, well, you got to like think that you're talented and like good and whatever. I'm like, no, they needed a girl.
That's yeah.
But it is fun to think like, they're having me out.
Well, I think you're. There are plenty of women. There are enough women to where
there's enough women in comedy.
There are enough women for them to like you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for a reason. Like okay.
I mean, not that I mean, like actually, a lot like all the women in our scene are really really talented. I mean, you guys are all. I mean, I think that the ratio of like is way higher. Like the women are like, I think you, Tanya, Dana, Dee Dee, Carmen, like you guys are like all pretty good, and whereas I cannot say that about all the dudes. Like I mean, there are plenty of really talented dudes, but there's plenty of not good dudes, and
yeah, I can see that.
It's just like you guys are like playing like a perfect game. You know what I mean? Like you're like 5 for 5.
Yeah, I like that we're all really different too. I feel like all of us are so different. Like just in what we like. I mean, everybody can be like, oh yeah, y'all talk about sex and dick, like cool. But I don't know, we all have our different personalities and the way that we relate to dick and sex.
Yeah.
So it's very
absolutely. I agree. I mean, and like all the dudes are telling dick jokes too. Like
exactly.
I mean, I've never understood that. Like people will be like, I just hate the way female comics like talk about their pussies all the time. It's like, well, we're just fucking talking about our dicks all the time. What do you like? It's literally the most interesting part of my body. Like more things like happen. Like surrounding this, like the more interesting things, you know, like so. Of course, it's
my vagina makes me hate myself for a week every month, like more so than it already does. Like I think I have the right to talk about it a little bit,
right? I don't think that's always just it's a weird like double standard in comedy that like you guys are like held to this like different standard.
Exactly. I was listening to the one podcast I do listen to. Now I'm gonna start listening to
which
this
is
one.
not this one.
Nicole Byer was talking about that, and she was like, plus size comedian, or I don't know how she like defines herself, but it's like when dudes talk about like not being able to see their dick, like fat dudes or whatever, she's like, everybody's like, haha, yeah, that's funny. But she's like, when I talk about it, people are like, oh, I'm so sad for you. And she's like, no,
it's like not being able to see her vagina.
Yeah. She's like, it's still funny. Like, what the heck? So I'm always thinking about that. Like, I don't know, double standards. And stuff.
I mean, it is silly. I don't know. I think we have. You've been down to Bakersfield recently more than I have. Are there any female Bakersfield comedians?
Yeah. I met Darling.
Oh, okay.
Is it her last name Hernandez?
Darling. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I met her and I talked to her for a quick second. I haven't watched her stuff yet, but like she posts and stuff, and even just like talking to her, I was like, oh my god, her shit has to be bonkers.
Oh, good.
Because like just talking to her and stuff like that. I'm sure there's more. Female comedians down there. That was my first time being there. I was there for like 2 seconds and then back to Fresno.
One time I think the last time I did a show in Bakersfield, I was talking to a girl that lived in San Luis Obispo, and I was like, she really wanted me to come like hang out with her, and I was like, well, I'm in Bakersfield, like I can't, and she messaged me back, and she was like, hey, I just like Googled it, and like the drive from Bakersfield to San Luis Obispo is the same distance from Bakersfield to Fresno. She's like, what if you just drove here and hung out with me and like you could stay the night? And I was like, okay, like we had like just met, like I think we were like a Tinder match or something, and I was like, this is crazy, like this is dumb, but she was like basically like drunk texting me at that point. She was like hanging out with her friends, and she's like, come be with me. And I was like, all right, I guess this is what I'm doing. Like, I mean, I was like relatively new to being single. I was like, this is like, I guess this is what like the single people do.
Yeah, I guess people just do this.
Yeah, like, people do this for love. Like people have done crazier things for love. And like I drove there, and like by the time I got there, she had like sobered up, kind of like realized like, oh, I made a drunken mistake, and this guy's like driven a long way to be here.
Just turn my light off.
Yeah, and then there was I met up with her and her friends at a bar, so like I was there, like I met her, and then it was like Oh, but then the chemistry wasn't like in person wasn't good, and that was really awkward. It was, and then I ended up staying the night at her place, and like we made out a little bit, and then the next morning I was like, well, that was fun. Like we should do this again, and she was like, and I was like, I'm gonna leave now.
You're like, excuse me, it was you I was unsure about.
Right. I was like, well, I'm never doing a show in Bakersfield again. This is clearly Bakersfield's fault.
Burning all the towns just based on your Tinder matches and how good or bad they went. Totally. Like, slow? Nope, not going.
Slow. I crossed Slow and Bakersfield off in one foul swoop. In that one, so anyway.
I love that. Oh, okay, I know you're whatever, not doing that anymore, but it'd be so tight to just like a Tinder date in like every like town and city like all across America.
Yeah.
And then like rate their cities based on the Tinder match you got.
Just judge an entire city based off of one date.
Tinder match, yeah.
I mean, if anybody can make it happen.
I've got Lemoore checked off.
Okay. What's your verdict on Lemoore?
Navy dudes are boring.
That's so funny.
And gay.
Boring and...
He turned out to be like homosexual, not like gay.
Like
I'm using the slang in a mean way.
No, he was, yeah.
I think he was gay.
A member of the LGBTQ.
There we go.
Community. Yeah.
So.
Did he know that he was that?
I don't know. I was like, did I change him? Like, do I have this new power?
Yeah.
I was like, nah, maybe he just was like, okay, cool now. I was like, okay.
Oh, he was like a hard pass on you? Is that what you're saying?
He ghosted me for a while. And then he was like, yeah, I'm kind of like dealing with this like sexual things. So I assume it's gayness, but it could be.
He said, I'm dealing with sexual things.
He said, I'm working through some sexual. We had not done anything. Not even like held hands or kissed or whatever. Not even any like Beatles song stuff. It was just, he was like, and he ghosted me for like a couple of months. And then he's like, hey, I'm sorry. Like I didn't keep in touch. I was dealing with some like sexual. He used a weird word, but I was like, oh, he's gay.
Yeah.
But it could just have been like sexual things as in I'm not attracted to you.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, that's the easiest one for you, right? You're like, he was gay. That's why he didn't like me.
That wasn't even a Lemoore one that I just remembered, but he was white and so were all the other Lemoore dudes. So I grouped them together. Maybe it's white dudes I have a problem with.
Maybe it's what it is. Yeah. They're weird. You're drinking a soda.
Yeah, it's actually really good.
Drinking the Diet Coke ginger lime.
I'm so scared that the government puts like chemicals in our chemicals.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So that's why I'm like, it's good though.
This is your first soda in 3 years?
In 3 years.
Whoa.
Yeah. When I first stopped drinking soda, like 2 years ago, it was like a last minute like New Year's resolution because I was like, that will help me.
I need something.
I lost 20 pounds in like 3 months just from the soda alone.
Wow, that's wild.
I was drinking Pepsi like a bitch.
Oh, yeah. Well, you miss it.
Yeah. Well, just recently. So now that I have it, I'm like, oh shit.
There's no calories in that. There's 0 calories.
Yeah.
You can't.
But I also feel like chemicals, like.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't taste natural. Like it's, you know, like this isn't like a real thing you're drinking right now.
It's
clearly
like video game stuff, like synthesized.
You ever drink like Red Bulls and stuff, like energy drinks?
No, those make my heart feel weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Those taste like. That tastes that.
They just all kind of taste like Sprite to me.
That does?
No, like all the energy drinks.
I don't know. Some of them. I remember the first energy drink I ever had. It was at my first job. I worked at a Circuit City, and we had this. I know. What are you laughing about?
What are you, a dinosaur?
I know. Seriously.
I'm kidding.
I'm 33 years old. Okay.
That's really young to be working at Circuit City. Were they like about to go out of business?
This was like 2004-ish. Like right out of high school. I was 18 years old, and it was like 2004, and there was like this 3 a.m. shift, like stocking shift that like was kind of nice. It sucked to get up so early, but you're done with work by 11, so I was like, yeah, it's kind of cool. And I remember I was super tired and I had my first energy drink, and like to me it was a full throttle, and to me it tasted like at the time I think she was my fiance. It was my daughter's mom. She would wear like Clinique Happy, like that was her perfume, and to me it tasted like Clinique smelled.
I don't think things would taste like perfume.
I know, right? That's not natural.
That's like peak chemicals.
Yeah, totally. I agree. But what if the chemicals help?
There was this dude in my high school who mixed like Red Bulls and Monsters, and he ended up having to go to the ER because he had like a mini heart attack or something. And he's like one of my best friends.
Fucking dummy.
Yeah. And my mom was like, see, Taylor, that's why you don't drink energy drinks. And like, it scared me because I was like, I don't want to pay for this. Like, my health insurance won't cover a mini heart attack. I don't think.
A Red Bull induced heart attack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Well,
they scare me.
What, like, I mean, you're relatively new to comedy, but like, what was the moment you're like, I gotta go up and do an open mic? Like, what sparked that for you?
So I'm not like, I guess, as into comedy as other people are. So they'll be like, oh, do you know this person, this person, this person? I'm like, I know.
So you're not like a comedy nerd or anything?
Yeah. No, I'm not that. But like, I've always really liked looking at life through like a comedic lens, I think.
Sure.
And then I think a lot of brown families are like that, or really any cultural families. Not that like families white people don't have culture. Because like, you're white with culture. You're like,
I mean, I'm half Armenian, and like all of the only interesting cultural references I can make are Armenian. Like, it's not really like, my mom's white and I don't ever talk about her half of the family. Like,
because it's not fun.
Yeah, they're just like, they're just fucking Dust Bowl, Okies, Grapes of Wrath, dirt people. That's fine.
Go
like
to John Steinbeck. I love him.
I love John
So
Steinbeck
go
too,
white
yeah.
people.
I guess we had that. But so you weren't, you weren't like a big comedy.
Yeah,
nerd
so
or
I think my family, like, we always use like humor and shit, like, to like bag on each other or whatever,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
like, you know, it's so fun to be poor. Like, here's some jokey stuff. But I think so. Last year I started in October, and so was that 2018.
Yeah.
I think right at the beginning of 2018, it was my New Year's resolution to do my first open mic.
And it took you like 10 months to like work up the courage.
Yeah,
huh?
I was like, oh shit, I got 2 months left. Like, I need to do this ASAP. And that's when Carmen had her open mic, and the other ones seemed very scary to me. Like,
oh really? Yeah.
Like very intimidating.
Sure. I mean, there's a lot of peacocking that goes on, but Carmen's was always hers was very chill.
Yeah. And so I guess I should have checked them out before I just went to the open mic and I was like, I signed up, and I was like, cool. Like, so, but yeah, I think, I really like comedy, like to deal with like life and stuff. Like, life's hard and blah, blah, blah. And I feel like, once I started figuring out that the comedians I do like deal with a lot of the same stuff I did, like in my younger days, I was like, man, this is cool. Like, I like making people laugh. Like,
right.
I think it's a fun thing to do.
Well, that's great. And I mean, but like, but what was it specifically about stand-up though? Like, you were like, I got all this funny stuff that I did when I was growing up, and you're like, I gotta like just put it out in the world, or like, why did you make that resolution? I guess.
Yeah, I don't know, because I've always, like, even in like high school and stuff, I'd make like YouTube videos or like funny stuff that I thought was funny, or even I still do it today, but like on my Instagram I'll post stupid shit or my stories and whatever. And I was like, I think like I could do stand-up. Like, I really like writing, but it's a lot of work.
Right.
I feel like stand-up's like a little, like, not easy, but it's like a easier thing to do than just sit down and like write a thing that has to be funny when read.
Right.
As opposed to like stand-up where it's like,
yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, I write a lot, but one of the things I like about stand-up is just the immediacy of it. Like, it's like, you'll know instantly if the thing that you wrote is funny or not. Because, I mean, you could come up with a joke in the morning and deliver that joke at night, and you'll, like, and whereas when you're writing, it's like, okay, well, maybe somebody will read this someday. Like, who is this even for, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, I just really like it because it's I don't know, it's a good way for me to deal with like all of my like jokes and stuff are all actual things that happened in my life.
Sure.
And for the most part, more recently, I've been like taking things that I actually like cried about and things that like really sucked, and like having a spin on it, because like I do have like diagnosed like depression and stuff, so I feel like that really helps to use it in a way where it's not like, as my therapist says, like bad for you when you just keep it inside and you're like, haha, funny, like I'm such a dumb bitch. Like when you actually like make a good healthy thing for it, and then like have kind of resolutions at the end of the joke where it's like, we resolved this and I can laugh about it now.
Right.
So it helps for, I think, me in the present time to know that I'm going to be able to laugh about this later.
Sure.
So I think doing stand-up is like, I'm like, oh, I can show people that like you can be sad but like be happy at the end of it.
Sure.
So.
I think if you were like, I mean, like, as far as like people that we know, I feel like if you drew a Venn diagram, like one was Tanya and one was Benit, like that overlap would be you. Like,
yeah, you really
know, like
feel that.
you got like Benit's depressive mania and Tanya's like sarcasm and like talking about sex. Like, you know, like
I see that. I see, when I saw Benit's stuff and I was like, word. Like, when she goes up there and talks about stuff, I'm like, preach. And then like Tanya, like when I look at her, I'm like, I wish I'd be doing that. She's like, yeah, last week me and blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, like, I didn't know that was that sex thing that you can do. Like, they both really inspire me to be a better woman and a better comedian.
That's so funny. That's great. Well, that's funny. And so, yeah, I mean, where do you feel like you want to take it? Have you even thought about like?
No, that scares because people are like, oh, so like you want this to like work out, and I'm like, well, I don't want it to kill me. Like I don't know what that means. Like, but so like I'm like, if it popped off, that'd be tight. Mm-hmm. Like I'd never want a real job in my life. Not that this is not a real job, but you know what I mean?
No, it's not a real job.
Okay.
I everything I do is so dumb. Like, it's so retarded, and I can't say retarded, but I'll edit that out. I said a hard R. There's a couple of words on this episode I can't say. One of them refers to your dad. I can't. There's a word I can't call your dad.
Oh yeah, you want me to say it?
Yeah, say it.
The word is carny.
I can't say that. You can because you are one technically by birth.
Well, I mean, if you want to come work for one day, I think then you can use the word.
Oh, that's it. I was kind of like, and then there's blood in, blood out.
I could teach you how to run a train.
Oh hell yeah,
the kitty train.
The kitty train. I could do that. I'd be great at it. Yeah. So anyway, but it's the comedy thing though. You're just looking to build your time, build your set, and
I just
do the
really
damn
like.
thing, huh?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, all comedians are narcissists, and they just like to go up there and be like, yeah, I did that, I made you laugh. But I just like kind of like I don't know, it's kind of like wholesome baby stuff. Like
sure.
I just kind of like being there and like having fun and like. Especially like when you get to hang out, like when we go to like the open mics and stuff like that. You're just kind of hanging out with your friends. Like you're messing around, trying new jokes, like seeing what happens.
I like hanging out with comedians. They're fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're usually pretty easy to talk to. And we all have this like very intense like shared life experience. Like you, even on every level, or not on every, doesn't matter the comedian. I mean, we all have done like a really scary thing, which is like got up on stage in front of strangers.
Yeah.
And so like I think you can always relate to that. Like even if you have nothing else in common, like you could talk for hours about comedy, you know?
Yeah, I feel like that's not so scary. Like when people tell me like, "Oh, you must be so brave to like, you know, that would scare me and blah blah blah." Like I grew up in like Christian churches where like I was in worship band and doing announcements and whatever. I was in all 4 years of my high school talent show. I did a Creed one time.
Wow.
I don't like to.
With Arms Wide Open? Is that what you did?
It was it With Arms Wide Open? No, I was thinking it was a different one. My friend chose it and I was like, that's tight.
No,
but like,
it's all right. Yeah.
I'm used to like, I think I'm a great actor because when I am nervous or whatever, it's just kind of like, man, like we'll just pretend I'm Beyonce and like embody her confidence and then I'm fine.
Yeah.
You just kind of have to like, you're like, whatever, just like pretend like you don't care, but like care about it and make sure it's good and like everything else, but like pretend like you don't.
Yeah, I got you. Just be cool.
Just be cool. Yeah,
just be cool, man. Just be cool. What? I always forget you're a musician.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oof. A lot of people have been telling me like, why don't you bring that into your act? Like, did it? I'm like, you got to be really good at it, I think.
I mean, it's like it's a divisive thing. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I've seen really good musical comedy and I've seen really bad musical comedy, and the worst musical comedy are the bad comedians hiding behind their guitar. Like,
okay,
you know, like, because one of the appealing things about comedy is like there's nothing between you and the audience. There's no guitar between me and the audience. You're virtually naked up there, and there aren't a lot of like live performing arts that are that way, and especially when you're communicating with your own original ideas, you know, like I mean, you could say, oh well, there's theater, there's nothing between the actor and but it's like but they're doing a script, like they're doing a written words written by somebody else, and so there's not, I mean, slam poetry I guess would be the other, you know, or poetry would be the other medium I think maybe closest to what we do, but even then, like, there's still like there's still the pressure of like having to elicit a visceral reaction from the audience, like a visceral, like that's what a laugh is. Like a laugh is a violent reaction in somebody's body. Like that is you were convulsing their bodies, and like that's not an expectation of poetry, you know, like people can sit quietly and listen to poetry, but the demand for us to like oh, you gotta blow up, you gotta like get through to these people in this very intense way, this very and it's constant, like you just gotta constantly have to make these people laugh, and so when I see a guitar comedian who's bombing, and then they can just like, nah, I'll just turn the volume up on my guitar a little bit, and then I just didn't hear the laughs because my guitar was so loud. I was like, oh, my guitar, like, I don't know. Not all musical. Come on. I have very strong feelings on this. I am ranting.
It feels like the people I know who do it the best, like I can never get to that level, and it's not even like a self-esteem thing. It's just like so like Bo Burnham, like I will never be able to make something as great musically, and I like to separate them too because like I have written songs before and stuff,
right?
And I feel like that's why I kind of don't like doing it as much because you're vulnerable in your music writing, but it's like. Just like that's it, that's the emotion and it's done.
Right.
As where with comedy, it's like, oh, we're laughing about this like sad thing instead of like we're singing about this sad thing.
Yeah, we're singing about this sad thing to be sad. But then when you're talking about the sad thing to create happiness and laughter, like that's when you're really getting subversive with bullshit. Yeah.
And so that's why I feel like I can really like deal with it a lot better. And then the music is just like fun to do like when I'm at home or blah blah blah. Like I have written some raps that are funny, I think. We'll see if I ever do anything with those.
Yeah. You ever seen Tosh Martin rap?
I think I saw him do that Pokemon song. I thought it was funny. I don't know a thing about Pokemon.
Yeah.
But just like seeing someone sing about Pokemon.
Yeah, he's so funny. He messaged me at 3:10 in the morning the other day. He was like, "Hey Dave, would it be funny if?"
I already know it's gonna be funny with this. Would it be funny?
Would it be funny if I took Eminem's song "Stan" and I rewrote it to Kyle, and I rewrote all the lyrics for it, but like based on like Kyle, like meme Kyle, like drywall punching, monster hat wearing Kyle, and I was like, yeah, I don't know, yeah, try it. I mean, and he's like, cool.
He's like, I got the okay, let's go.
Yeah, I was like, I don't really need my blessing for this, but okay. And then he fucking messaged me like. That was at 3:10 in the morning. 3 o'clock in the fucking morning, Tosh is like texting me this. And then later that day, around like 5 or 6 in the evening, he messages me like the whole rap. I'm like looking at it like he texted to me. And I'm like scrolling through just this like wall of text. And I'm like, come on, Tosh. He's like, let me know what you think. And I'm like, I can't read all this. Like, this is too much. I'm like, I got too much going on.
To read your whole rap. Mine's about like how soft I am and like how I cried watching Click.
Oh, funny.
It's a good movie.
I mean, Click is pretty emotional.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Yeah, that is an emotional movie, but like, I guess I could use a different movie. Thanks, Dave.
Well, I'm just trying to help. I cried too.
It rhymed with what I wrote. So now I have to think of another movie that's ick in it.
Oh, man.
Oh, The Big Sick. I cried watching that too.
The Big Sick. Oh, that would cry too. You could cry for that.
Yeah, that's like a lesser known.
How about Amazon Prime's The Tick? It's a television show.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch that at all.
Oh, man. We have gotten way off the rails here. Okay. All right. Well, you're Taylor Lopez.
Yes.
This is a podcast called Sad Dad.
Sad Dad.
And this is where it's not called Sad Dad because it's meant to be sad. I call it Sad Dad because...
Are you trying to reassure me so I don't get sad all up in here?
Yeah. And I also don't want you to feel like you have to like tell sad stories about your dad. I call it Sad Dad because the phrase Sad Dad is a phrase that I say to myself when I feel like I'm being low effort as a parent. Okay. Like when I feel like I'm not doing a very good job as a parent. I'm like, don't be a sad dad, dude. Like,
that's a nice way to put it. My mom called him a deadbeat for a little while.
Pretty much exact same thing.
But like nicer.
But it was just a phrase I've always said to myself. Like, don't be a sad dad. And so it was actually, it's literally the opposite. Implication is it's called Sad Dad so that I know not to be a sad dad. But
Tight.
Anyway, so, and you have a dad.
I have 2.
You have 2 dads?
Yeah, I have a stepdad.
Whoa, you've been holding out on me.
He's like, a surprise. It's like my secret weapon.
Raise up the sleeve. A second dad.
He comes from out of the door in your own house.
How long have you been here? How did you get out?
There's confetti everywhere.
Okay. Well, I usually start from the beginning. And I guess we'll get into the second dad thing for sure.
Okay.
But your biological father, you want to start with him? Mm-hmm. Okay. Where did he grow up?
I think he grew. Well, he's a carny, the word that you can't use. But I feel like if I say I allow Dave to use the carny word,
am I gonna get the C card? I get the.
I think you get the C card.
Okay, I'm gonna try not to say it, but if it slips, I won't. Yeah.
Yeah. So he I know for sure. I think that he was born in like Porterville.
Okay.
And
Porterville's a dusty little farm town here in the Central Valley.
Yeah.
We have an international audience, so we have to.
We have a lot of dusty little towns.
There are a lot of dusty little towns, so.
So yeah, I think he was born there for sure, and then he grew up in like Porterville. He lived in like Oregon for a little while and Nevada, and that was just as a teenager, like going to different schools and stuff. And his parents split up, so they were like all like changing him around all the time. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you have any idea what he's like as a kid? Like is he into sports or what's he do?
Yeah, so I guess he was like as a kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He did like I don't know, it was like a kid, but like a teenager. He was like super into like basketball. I guess he was on like his school's team for basketball and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. The Porterville Porcupines. I don't know.
The Porterville Raptors.
Raptors? Yeah, that's good.
Because like they look like they would live there, like in the desert. No, but I think his teenage years he was in like Oregon and Nevada.
Oh, okay, I got
you.
Was he a good student or was he?
Yeah, he said he did okay. He even said that he went to a private school for a little while, and I was like, must have been nice, asshole. Like I went to public school and found condoms on the floor. Like gives you character.
What does he? Is he part of a big family though? I mean, I know you said his parents split, but
no, he was an only child.
He was an only child. Wow.
Yeah, so he's real weird.
Was there like a lot of pressure on him to like? You know what I mean? Like to be successful and...
Not really. My grandpa, his dad, Larry, was very like one of those parents, like, you can do anything and I'll love you. Like, you could be a bum and it's as long as you're a good person and whatever. And then his mom, Kathy, who I vaguely remember, same thing. She was very cool. My grandpa loved white ladies, so she was that's where his white side comes in. But she was tight. I remember, like, my dad tells me about her all the time. That she loved scary movies and like they did all that kind of stuff together. So they're just very like supportive and like whatever. Even though they both like split up.
Sure.
I don't remember him saying that like they talked bad about each other or made him feel like he had to be awesome.
Okay.
It was like cool.
Oh, all right. And now is it? And so like he's going to. I mean, he's grown up in different towns and he's going to school and he's an okay student. And he graduates. Was there any point where he's like, I'm going to go to college? Was he like...
I think he did. I vaguely remember him talking about like going to like a community college for like a second and him being like, no, like I want to be my own boss. Like I'm not going to, because they're like vaguely, like, talking about like, oh, like you can use this on your resume so you can get a job and like here's how you... kind of stuff, like here's how you look good to an employer. And he's very much a like, I'm not going to work for anybody kind of person.
Sure.
And throughout the times he was growing up, I think he was like during summer breaks and winter breaks working on a carnival where he understood that he could be his own boss. So it's kind of like...
And that's actually like a good jumping off point because I did want to ask you about your grandfather.
Yeah.
And his family business, which was the carnival.
Yeah. So
interesting story there. We went to lunch earlier, and it was the whole reason I decided to have Taylor on the show is because at lunch she told me about her fucking crazy ass family. I was like, "You want to be on my podcast?" And she's like, "What's a podcast?" And I was like,
"Was that in Star Wars?" They had the podcast races.
Yeah, the podcast races. Okay, we're done here.
Sorry.
Turn it out. No, so your great grandfather is he's the one that like starts the carnival thing.
Yeah, so my great grandpa John Lopez, we've recently been talking about it a lot because my dad and my mom split up when I was like about 9. So we've been talking more recently from when I was like 18, 19 and on. We've been like actually like been reconciled and talking to my dad. Yeah, me and my dad. And so we've been talking more about the past because I want to like know more about it and stuff. And he was saying that like my great grandpa John grew up like in the fields, I think in California somewhere, probably around Porterville. And same thing, he didn't want to work for anybody else and stuff like that. And I guess the circus was in town, and my grandma's family worked with that. And she was like, her and her sisters were like tightrope walkers in the circus and stuff. And I guess like he saw her up on the rope and was like, "Damn, Ma.
Oh shit, yeah,
gotta get in on this." So they started like talking or whatever. I don't know. Back in the days, I guess they used to actually date, not just what we do now. But and then I guess after a little while he's like, yeah, like screw this working in the fields, like this sucks.
So your great grandfather, just to recap, your great grandfather is like, I don't want to work here in these fields. The fields suck. His family kicked him out. He literally ran away to the circus.
Literally.
And then fell in love with a tightrope trapeze artist.
Yeah.
And then married her.
And
then somehow he took over the carnival? How did that work?
So I'm not sure of like exactly what happened, but I know from then on he knew like, I don't know, kind of the same thing. Like you can see like, oh, I don't have to work for other people, tight. So I think he just started like maybe working with other people. I'm not too sure. But he, you know, got some own like carnival rides of his own and stuff like that. So the carnival and the circus are very different too. Whenever I tell people the carnival, like, oh my gosh, did you get to ride elephants? And I was like, that's the circus.
Yeah,
that's the fun one. Like that's the cool one. So the carnival's the one with just like the rides at the fair, basically, with the corn dogs and all that type of stuff. Like the guys with the dirty fingernails who strap your kids into rides. My uncles. But yeah, so he like just started getting all the rides and stuff, and eventually had his own like show where him and his kids, like my grandpa and like all of his brothers and stuff, all were helping him run the show. And it was like, I guess like one of the biggest shows in California.
Like when you say show, what do you mean? Show?
Oh, sorry, I'm like doing carny talk. Just let me know.
Yeah.
Shows. So it's like a show would be like it's like the carnival unit, so that would be like a show. So
okay, gotcha.
We're doing a show in like LA, or we're doing a show kind of the same with comedy. Like we're doing a show,
right?
But a show is not just you, right? It's like you and like
and it's the whole package.
Yeah.
I see. So it's not necessarily when you said show initially, I was thinking trapeze artists and like jugglers and stuff. But no, the show is the traveling road show. Like I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and I think back in the day too, they used to be together, the circus and the carnival.
Oh, interesting.
But they sort of like just drifted apart because I don't know why, but
I don't know.
Yeah, so him
circus can be a real demanding cunt. You know, I hear.
It seems like it'd be.
She's real self-entitled and.
Just don't even let you talk to the kids.
I'm sorry, I totally derailed. You were doing great. I
was like, was that me? Did I did that? Like,
no, that was me. That was a bad riff on my part. It was misguided.
Okay, you
bad
got
hosting.
It.
I'm sorry.
You got it. No, but so like all my grandpa and all his brothers like all like had like rides that were theirs, or like food, like they call them wagons. So like wagons that were theirs, but they were all together in the same like unit. So they just like kind of like did stuff like that. And so my dad grew up around all of that from when he was younger, all the way until now. So
that's wild. And so your dad was kind of like next in line almost, like, right? Because it went from your great grandfather to your grandfather and then to him. Yeah. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And was he like all about that life? Like he was like,
he loves it. Like him and my grandpa too, like they would always talk about how they just like love like entertaining people and just like being there and stuff like that. And sometimes when I'm working like the games or something, I'm like, this shit sucks. Like, what are you talking about?
Right.
But sometimes you'll get a kid who wants to win, and then like my dad's like, oh, like if they really want a stuffed animal or whatever, just give it to them. And then you give it to them, they're like, oh my god. Oh wow. So it's like cool for 2 seconds, and then you're back to like picking up balls off the floor for like little rich kids. But so
there is I mean, because I guess there was a point where you're kind of presenting it to me almost in like a cynical way, but that's not necessarily the case. It sounds like your dad genuinely like enjoys what
he genuinely like likes it, which I don't understand. Like I get that 1 second for like, oh, a kid got a prize, whoa. Yeah. But for the most part, it's a lot of work. Like
one of the things you were telling me about that kind of blew my mind. Like it didn't. I mean, like, if I had really thought about it, like, critically and objectively, like, I would have been like, of course that's a thing that exists, but it had never crossed my mind. But you were talking about what did you call it? The lot?
The yard?
The yard?
The yard.
Where all the rides live? Like, I mean...
Where they sleep and shower.
Talk about where your dad's yard is.
Okay, so my dad's yard is in Lancaster, which is the worst place in California. And I will fight people on this. Like Bakersfield, Lancaster's the worst. So Lancaster's nothing there. There's like 2 motels and like a strip club, and like I don't know how you can have no money for a city and still have a strip club. But he's right next to a strip club, and it's just basically a big dirt lot, like fenced in with gate, so nobody takes his rides. And it's like a dirt lot with just like 12 or so rides on it, and then other stuff too. Like he has like I think old ticket boxes on there, which are like the places where they sell tickets.
Right.
And then he has like bunk houses, like which are like the places where all the carnies sleep, like in bunk bed things. Yeah. And there's just a bunch of stuff on there. And then he also collects bugs, like VW, like beetles.
Oh, okay.
So he has those there, and just like a lot of just like all stuff. And then he has to like he uses that a lot to like paint and fix the rides or do whatever touch ups he needs to do. So we're there a lot to work on him.
Talk about like life in the yard. Like what's because you go down there, you just got back from a weekend of helping your dad out on the yard.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad because we were there for like maybe one full day.
Okay.
But usually, and we're there in the summer, right? Because that's when I have school off. Mm-hmm. And it is hot there. It's like 120 or something in like a dry heat.
Yeah.
And so when we're there, basically, he has like a trailer on there. Not like a mobile home, but like a trailer that he can like pull around because when he goes to different spots, like, I don't know if spots is a thing.
It's like a fifth wheel trailer. Yeah. That he tows around.
Yeah. So when we're there, we're in there with like a generator and then like water and stuff too. But it's like, I don't feel like I'm bougie or anything, but also like I don't want to sleep in a trailer. Like I don't know. I'd like my showers to be hot all the time, like not just some of the time.
You were telling me, what was that story you told me about your dad giving you a hard time about wanting to shower?
Yes. Oh my gosh. So sometimes we'll be taking it to a spot where they don't have like a water hookup or something. And so he's like, oh, like just use these wipies. And I was like, are you kidding me? I have a degree. I shouldn't have to wipe myself with wipies. I have my BS in criminal justice. And I have to... And he's like, one time he's like, I was crying about it, like literal tears. And he came back to the trailer with a gallon of water that he got from like a freaking grocery store. He's like, here you go. And I was like, what? I cried. I called my mom. Like, I'm a whole ass adult, but I called my mom. I was like, please tell him that I have to be home for something. Like, please make up something. She was like, why? What happened? I was like, he made me shower with a gallon of water.
That's so funny. But that's his life all the time. Like that's
yeah, he's used to it. It's
sure.
Like,
yeah.
That's like a nice thing for him to have a gallon of clean water to wash with. This guy, man.
Oh man, what was your? I mean, you touched on it like briefly. I mean, I know there was a period of time. I mean, you said you had reconciled, and there was a period of time where he wasn't around.
Yeah.
And was that the period when you mentioned your second dad? Is that where your second dad comes in, or does your second dad? Who's your second dad? Is what I guess my roundabout way of asking.
My second dad is Nelson.
Nelson.
Oh, did I even say my dad's name?
You told me no. You don't have to. I mean, you can, but
oh, okay.
What's your?
It's easy to distinguish people. My dad's name is Robert.
Okay, Robert.
Yeah.
Now we have a Nelson.
And Nelson. So Nelson, my mom and dad split up when I was like around 9 or 10, and so Nelson came in at the best years to come in when I was 15. So I did not like him.
Sorry, Nelson.
I was like so. I don't think I was like mad about it, but you're a teenager. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not a great time to come in.
Right.
So, yeah, he's cool. My mom met him at a bar. So nice. It was good. They got married 3 months later.
Wow.
And yeah, this is my second dad. He's tight though. He's like super hardworking, works in the fields and stuff like that.
Sure. So. And his name's Nelson.
See, yeah, that was so weird when we first met him because he speaks only Spanish too.
Wow. Wow.
He's from Honduras.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
So he speaks only Spanish, and we met him. We're like, his name's Nelson. Like now it's so normal to me. Like when people say Nelson, I'm like, yeah, that's his name.
Yeah.
But when we first met him, we're like, does he know that's like a dorky like brace's name?
Yeah.
I was like, in Honduras, did they just like take all the bad names that they Google? Do they even have? I don't think they have the internet there, probably.
This is probably a great name. I don't know.
Super cool. But when we had first like met him, it was kind of cool because like he worked in like a watermelon field, so he'd always bring us hello watermelons, and I was like, "You're good for my mom."
It was when I saw that melon, I knew.
Those 2 melons. It was a great time.
It's so funny.
No, yeah,
so,
we're cool now.
Dude.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He's like he's super awesome. Just like
did he come out that night? Your mom came out for that show?
Yeah, he did. Oh, yeah, he's super young too.
Did you
think he was like maybe my brother?
Maybe. I don't remember because it was dark and
and he's brown.
And, well,
he's not that dark.
It was more that like my parents were there too, and I was just all in my head about my parents being there, so it wasn't enough time for you and your dumb mom. Where am I?
And my grandma.
And your grandma. I remember them being super cool though. They were laughing a lot, and there were a couple of points where she was like, "Oh, Taylor," like, which I thought was really funny. Yeah. But,
no, my mom's super chill, but like she was like, "Oh, I loved all of your jokes tonight, Taylor, except for when that one comedian brought up pro-lifers and you went boo." My herpes joke was fine, but not
but she didn't like the way you heckled the comedian.
It was you, actually.
Was it me?
You were saying something about pro-lifers in like Alabama,
yeah.
and I was like, boo.
That's
like,
right.
to the pro-lifers, and she's like, do you really not believe in abortion? And I was like,
oh, it's your mom's pro-abortion?
She's not.
Or anti-abortion?
She's very Christian. So like I talk to her about it a lot, and I'm just like, it's not your body, so who gives a shit?
Yeah.
And so it's like that. But I'm like, she's like, what would you do if I aborted you? And I was like, I wouldn't have to pay bills. So you're working against yourself.
I forgot that I was doing it. I don't know. I forgot about that abortion joke. I gotta try to remember what it was. I don't do a lot of abortion jokes.
Yeah, you never know in Fresno, I guess.
Yeah, I just feel like everybody's doing abortion jokes right now. So I was like, I'm gonna put this on the back burner until abortion's not cool anymore.
Yeah, I feel like everybody's talking about like women's rights and like
yeah. It's
chill
like,
on that for a sec.
Oh God, women's rights. Come on, let's talk about something
important.
Yeah.
I can say it because I'm a woman. You're like,
yeah, just trail off into indistinguishable noises.
I'm like, don't worry, I'll say it for you.
Thanks, Taylor. That's so funny. So cool. Well, Nelson's great. And do your dad and Nelson get along? Have they ever met?
Hell yeah, they get along.
Oh, that's great.
It's so weird because like coming from like having like a dad who like kind of wasn't there for a while, me being like pissed about it and like kind of angsty, like whatever about it, to where everybody gets along is so crazy to me. Like him and Nelson, like my dad's always like inviting him, and my dad doesn't speak Spanish, and Nelson only speaks Spanish.
Wow.
But my dad's like, hey, like he'll tell my mom, tell Nelson let's go fishing, or tell Nelson to come up and work or whatever, or tell Nelson like blah blah blah, and like they hella get along. It's so weird.
That's wild. That's so funny.
Yeah, like sometimes I want to be at my mom's house. But Nelson will be in the living room just chilling with my dad, and I get home and I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Like, I'm like, this is... Or my dad will just go into my mom's house, like when he's like down in town. He'll just open her door and be like, what's for dinner? I'm like, this is not how it's supposed to work, I think.
That's so funny. Oh, that's great. And so, we're doing great on time. So like what... I mean, how would you describe your relationship now with your dad? I mean, is it like a father-daughter relationship, or is it more of a... He's
like my manager.
He's like your manager?
No, but it is really good.
Is it? Oh,
yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
And so, I don't know.
Has he ever like sprinkled you with like parenting advice? Like...
They both do, like my mom and my dad, and sometimes I'll be like, I'm not listening to you. Just because of like their past that I know about.
So you gotta take it all with a grain of salt.
Yeah. But they do, yeah. Like my dad, he's very supportive of like my comedy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he's very like, he pushes me into that a lot. Like very like, you can do whatever you set your mind to. He was more excited and proud after seeing my first comedy show than when he was at my college graduation. Like after my first comedy show, he texted me a big ass message like, I'm so proud of you. You can do whatever you want in the world. I support you no matter what.
Right.
The fucking world is your oyster.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, literally 7 months ago, I got a college degree, the first in my family. Like,
and this is the thing.
I just talked about dicks on stage, and you're so proud. Even last night after the Bakersfield show, he's like, I'm so proud of you. You going up there just like makes my heart whatever the heck.
That's so funny. Oh my God.
I was like,
I find the idea, we talked about this earlier, I find the idea absolutely romantic that like you and your brother don't necessarily plan to like take over the family business, and he's sort of like the last of the line of these carnival people.
Carnival people.
and like, I think you should call your first album like The Last Roadshow or something, like because there's gonna be a point where like your dad's like, I'm going out one more time, I got one more in me, you know what I mean? Like
Jeff Bridges.
Yeah, exactly. And he's gonna go like, he's gonna go big and he's gonna go hard, and then he's gonna die on like the zipper or something. Or like, I don't know. Like, I just find that like really, really, like the idea of just some old dude just keeping the shit together in the middle of this dusty lot in this desert town, surrounded by his like his carnival ride attractions. I just think that's amazing.
Yeah, my grandpa actually passed in October last year, and so now it's like really, because they would stay together on the lot, And so my grandpa would help him out with like rides, painting them or whatever and stuff like that. And so now like it really is kind of like on his own. Because I think that was his like last parent that was alive too. So it was like very, and he's an only child.
Right.
So it's like very like alone. Like,
right. Has he gotten like, how did he take your grandfather passing away? Was that hard?
Yeah, we took it hard because it was a very like a slow thing. So we were like in the hospital kind of waiting for a little while. And that too was like, that happened. And then I did my first open mic because I was like, if I just like kind of sit in this, I'm never going to like get past it. So I think it was like very hard for all of us. But then again, my family, like all my mom's brothers treat my dad like their own brother. So like, while I'm sure it was hard, and like he's talked about like how hard, he's very an emotionally like open person and talks about all that stuff, which is weird for me from any man to hear. But like they all like he would like come down here and spend time with our family and stuff like that, and we're just like always kind of around each other when like those kind of times happen. So but yeah, I think it's kind of hard like for him knowing that like he's like kind of one of the last people in his like immediate family like still trying to make this work and still trying to do it and stuff like that.
Wow. Well, this is the part of the show I didn't give you a heads up on this, and that's totally my bad. I fucked up.
I'm excited. Do you have a second dad?
I don't. I just have the one. But this is a part of the show. I like to try to end it as best we can on like a dad anecdote. I call them dadecdotes. Oh, okay. So like, just like, I mean, I don't know if you have like a favorite like memory or story about your dad growing up, with good, bad, sad, whatever it is. Just one that like was maybe like profound or really sticks out to you.
So, my dad, his mom, like, raised him on, like, scary movies. Like, that was their favorite thing to do. She was just, like, a weird white lady who loved scary movies. I don't know. Do white people like those things?
Oh, we love those things.
Oh, okay. Oh, you guys do love those.
We do. It's kind of a problem in some cases.
So, we're always, like, talking about, like, scary shit or whatever. Just, like, urban legends and da-da-da. And so, he always, and nobody believes me, and I don't know if I believe him, but he always talks about this time that he saw Bigfoot.
Okay.
And, like, of course, a person who works on the carnival is going to say that they saw Bigfoot, but he's never done drugs. So,
okay.
I don't know about never, but he wasn't on drugs when he told me this story. And I guess he was, like, living in Oregon or something, which I'm like, it makes it more believable.
Sure.
Because, like, that's where it would be if there was.
Pacific Northwest. Yeah. That's where a lot of the sightings are, Well, I'm really connecting with this story. I don't know what to tell you.
We know there's not any sightings at all, but I like to believe there are. And so he was telling me about like this one time that he was like walking home or something from school or a friend's house or something, and it was night, and he was like a teenager or something, and that like he like could hear breathing like behind him, and he would turn around and there's like nothing there. And then, like, he would, like, walk a little faster. And I said something about his bike braking. I don't know. This is out of a fucking movie, I'm sure.
Sure.
And so, like, he could feel, like, and then he could, like, feel the breathing on the back of his neck. And I'm like, what the fuck? And he's like, it was, like, pointing down at my neck. Like, I could feel that the breath was pointing down, that he was, like, taller than
Yeah. It's like, okay.
like, all right. Physics. And, that I guess he like turned around or something, and he just like saw like a big ass like figure or whatever, and just started bolting. So now whenever we're I don't know, I'm still like scared of Bigfoot, even though I don't know if he exists or not. Look at those things, like if you say they don't exist, they're gonna come and get you.
Yeah.
And so we were driving recently like up to like the redwoods just to like hang out or whatever, and it was like dark, and there's like no lights out there, and it's like, and he's like, oh hey, look how this looks when I turn off my lights. And I was like, we're driving on the windiest side of a mountain, like the windiest side of a mountain.
I know exactly, like going up towards like Eureka, is that?
Yes.
Dude, that's a fucking scary. Reedy and I thought we were going to die on that strip of highway. Yeah.
I'm surprised you guys didn't see Bigfoot.
I didn't know that was where he was. Now it's terrifying. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was so scared, and like, you know, like when you like get scared, you can like see things, like you manifest them yourself.
Yeah.
So then I saw like eyes in the trees and like all this scary shit. And he's like, yeah, we're gonna go camping up here in about August, so make sure you guys are ready and blah blah blah. Just like, I don't know. I just always remember the Bigfoot story, just because like. And now I know.
There's like a whole Bigfoot store there. Like the Bigfoot Museum is there too. So that's prime Bigfoot country.
You have a Bigfoot sticker on my car.
Do you?
We got it when we went through. I was like, dude.
And that's sort of like, and it's so weird that like your dad's superstition has also been passed down to you. That's wild. Like
Oh yeah, her family only watches scary movies.
Is your dad afraid of Bigfoot?
I don't know if he's afraid of him. I think he just thinks he's cool. Like they would be like fishing buddies or something. Like Bigfoot.
Your dad, Nelson, and Bigfoot. Out on a fishing boat.
Yeah, like Bigfoot would just like grab the fish out of the water, and then like my dad would be like, "Bro, teach me how to do that."
Yeah. Nelson doesn't understand anything.
And then he's like, "What the heck's going on?"
Yeah. And he's like, "You guys want these watermelons?"
I'll cut up the watermelon. I'm useful somewhere.
Taylor, you've been so fun.
Thank you. This has been very fun.
This has been a blast. So like, if there's people listening right now that are like, that Taylor Lopez, I like her. I want more Taylor Lopez in my life. Where can they find you?
I live on 6840.
No.
I'm kidding. I'm a woman.
Okay, good. Oh, Okay. Like, your Instagram handle is pretty.
My Instagram handle
easy.
is Taynlo. It's like Taynlo. My name is Taylor Nicole because my dad is white.
Nice. Yeah, you got 2 white ass names there.
And then Lopez.
Yeah, Taylor Nicole Lopez. Wow. Yeah. That's something else. I mean, I guess I don't know why you were so judgmental of Nelson.
You know what? That's true. Yeah. I was such a bitch.
Your name's Nelson? Your name's Taylor?
He doesn't even know. He's like, that's Mexican as hell.
So why couldn't I have gotten a name like Taylor Nicole?
It's not a Mexican name if a Mexican person can't say it. My grandma can't say my name. She calls me,
really?
Yeah, she calls me Tyler.
That's so funny.
Tyler, because she can't say Taylor. He's just Spanish. But that's my Instagram.
There it is. I'll link it in the show notes. So, awesome. Well, thank you so much. You were great.
This is so much fun.
Yeah. All right. Taylor Lopez, everybody. She's great. Follow her on Instagram. I'll link her, as I said earlier. I'll link her handle in the show notes, and you can also follow me at Dave Apkarian on all the social medias, and saddadpodcast@gmail.com if you need to get a hold of me. Sad Dad Facebook page. Go out to the Full Circle Olympic on June 15th. Come see me and a bunch of other dads do comedy, the Rad Dad Comedy Show. You can see that. You can find that on my Facebook page. Also, Full Circle Olympics Facebook page if you're, in the greater Fresno, Clovis area. So that is it, you animals. I'll be back next week. I'm at the point of this recording right now. It's Tuesday. I normally record on Wednesdays, but I'm going to be out of town later on this week and down in Southern California. I'm going to do a couple of spots, but mostly it's just to hang out with a gal that I really like who lives down there. So we're going to go to Universal Studios. I'm really, really excited about that. So I'll tell you about that next week. And there we go, guys. That's it. Adios.